Welcome to the Boat Show. Are you yearning for the sea? Drop your moorings, point your finger on the globe, choose any destination, and off we go. Do you want to learn more? Stay tuned. Would you like to go on a special holiday, give in to your desires? Hop on board. The Boat Show. Ignite your passion. Sunseeker Predator 64, luxury and performance. Beneteau Sense 55, an innovative project. Oceanis 48, sailing design. Giovanni Soldini, the sea is my home. Portofino, Rolex Trophy, sailing charm and elegance. Sunseeker Predator 64. A motorboat with character, design, where nothing is left to chance. British style.
Do you know what the most visible colour at sea is? Black. And what symbolises class? Black. So if you want to get noticed and travel in style, you should choose a black boat, just like this Sunseeker Predator 64. It has a wonderful design because it is huge and it has a very sporty look. I wonder how fast it goes. The deck has an open design, just like on a large motor yacht. The area is very spacious and is completely furnished. It has a sun deck that extends to the rear platform and a fully equipped kitchen. The Predator 64 has an amazing living room, very classy and modern, but not excessively so. The light and dark tones have been very well thought out, and the furniture perfectly matches the cozy ambience. What I like most is the sensation of being able to escape and at the same time feel like I am in touch with the sea and sky. I can open the large ceiling roof or the side windows. The sliding glass doors overlap each other and disappear completely to leave a large open area. These large lateral windows are so beautifully designed, they add a priceless element of style. The tender is easily accessible thanks to the submergible platform and the position of the garage. In the cockpit there are two driving dashboards, one close to the pilot, the other further away. There is so much room that it almost seems like it is missing some instruments, but actually it has everything. In fact, it has double the analog panels and digital displays. You choose which one to look at. The navigation display is 12 inches, but there is space for a larger one if necessary.
The Boat Show, where passion is shared.
The style that Sunseeker has created for its Predator series makes you imagine that these boats go very fast. Of course, you need a lot of power to cruise the sea with an open boat of this dimension. The model we are testing today has two-man engines of 1,200 horsepower each. Let's leave the port of Genoa. It would be ideal with a boat like this to make our way to Portofino, which is just 14 miles from the Ligurian capital. But actually, I would prefer to face the open sea and test its maximum performance. At 1,400 revs per minute with a speed of 15 knots, the hull is already gliding along. The conditions today are ideal, the hull and propellers are clean, and we are going to see how far we can go. At 2,000 revs, we are travelling at 28 knots, but the flaps are still lowered. Now I'll lift them and see what happens. The boat immediately becomes lighter on the water because the bow lifts upwards and it becomes more agile. We have also gained 1 knot in speed. Now let's push the Sunseeker Predator 64 to its maximum speed. The engines reach a maximum of 2,340 revs per minute, so I have all that power at my disposal. The speedometer reads a maximum of 33.5 knots. The Sunseeker Predator 64 is an English-designed boat, but we have already seen today that it is also very Mediterranean in terms of usability and performance.
Beneteau Sense 55, a new concept to take to the sea. Plenty of space on board and excellent comfort during navigation. The owner can customize the essentials, colors, materials, and create his own luxury.
Sense 55 is the latest boat from the innovative series launched by the Beneteau shipyard. They are boats that completely change the layout of the deck compared to the traditional sailboats. They are a crossover between the sailing world and motorboat world. This is because the bridge is linked to the living area by only a few steps. Basically here you can communicate with everyone on board very easily. This boat was built with an ambition for navigation in mind. It is possible to mount a self-tacking staysail that helps a lot in rough winds. The anchor winch is vertical and the chain is fed through a protected well. The wind speed is 10 knots. We're travelling long-hauled at a speed of just over 9 knots. Although the Sense 55 is more of a cruising boat, it still sails very fast. The hull is wide and adapted to faster speeds, and also built for Atlantic crossings. It has 2 rudder blades. This ensures directionality even in times of crisis when the wind is so strong it makes the boat sway. We're now sailing close-hauled. The wind speed is around 10 to 15 knots. Our current speed is 7.3 knots. The Sense 55 is proving to be very sensitive at the helm and also quite fast. The selling points of the Sense series are the space on board and the light. It has a very modern design that changes the concept of sailboats. Below deck, you feel as though you are still outside, even in the dining area. It's possible to look outside and see the panorama and the sea. This boat has 3 cabins and 3 bathrooms, a large master cabin at the bow with a separate shower and loo, and 2 cabins amidship, with 2 large sliding doors that give a wonderful sense of space to the area. The dock and go system is another innovation introduced by Beneteau. A joystick allows you to control the direction of the boat in very tight spaces within the docks. The Sense 55 is 17.2 meters in length and 4.97 meters wide and is immersed 2.35 meters below the waterline. It weighs 18.5 tons and is powered by a Yanmar engine of 75 horsepower. A lot of attention to detail practically allows this boat to be sailed by just the owner. It has electric winches, a dock and go system, and is very easy to maneuver.
Functional and refined luxury. The Beneteau Oceanis 48 has perfectly integrated functions, space on board, and a wonderful design.
Oceanis is the historical series of boats produced by Beneteau Shipyard. They have always been very comfortable boats and at the same time innovative, especially the specific details that make the boats easy to use. This 48-foot yacht follows the same general philosophy of the series: a hull with a narrow edge, 2 rudders, and a new interior designed by the Italian studio Norto Yacht. We're sailing upwind at a speed of 7.2 knots and a wind speed of 15 knots, a good velocity and sensation at the helm of this Oceanis 48. Still upwind, the wind speed is now 16 to 18 knots. Our current speed is 7.5 knots, not bad at all. The overall length of the boat is 14.7 meters, the length of the hull is 14.3 meters, and the width is 4.74 meters. It weighs 13,300 kilograms and immerses 2.15 meters below the waterline. The Oceanis 48 is fitted with a Yanmar engine of 75 horsepower. The interior design comes in 4 different versions, from the most comfortable layout with 2 cabins and 2 bathrooms to the most compact layout with 5 cabins and 3 bathrooms. The interior is designed by Norto, a Milanese design studio that brought many stylistic innovations to the series. Norto really takes advantage of the limited space on board by integrating refined and functional elements, such as the new doors that are completely flush with the floor. This boat is perfect for sailing in a traditional way. The version we tried out today had 2 large cabins at the stern and a master cabin at the bow. The interior, however, is very modern and introduces many innovations that make life easier for the owner.
After 18 years of oceanic regattas, 2 solitary circumnavigations, and over 30 transcontinental crossings, Giovanni Soldini is ready for a new challenge.
Con Maserati abbiamo
With Maserati, we established a new reference time for the route from Calice to the Canary Islands to the Bahamas. It is an official ISAF record, and it's a very famous route because it's the same that Christopher Columbus sailed. We managed to achieve this in less than 11 days. Our total time was 10 days and 20 hours, and it went very well. The boat performed admirably, and we're glad to say that the work and modifications we carried out over the summer really paid off. This was the first real oceanic commitment made by the Maserati crew, and it was a fantastic experience. I think everyone really enjoyed themselves, and the team spirit was at its best. I'm glad to say that we're prepared for the next challenges that await us this year. There are 8 of us on board who work round the clock, and everyone has their own responsibilities. This way we can prepare ourselves more efficiently. For example, Brad and Boris are responsible for the instruments on board, the electronics, the computer, the wind instruments. Brad is particularly specialized in using B&G equipment, as he worked with them for a long time. Guido, for example, is responsible for the engine hydraulics. Marco is in charge of all the winches and pulleys. David takes care of the mast, and Gabriele is responsible for the sails. Everyone is specialized in a particular area, in a part of the boat. We try to prepare ourselves for any event. Obviously, you can't calculate everything. You need a bit of luck. When you want to achieve a record, you need weather conditions that will make you go faster. So open angles, the wind behind you or from the side, and sailing at an angle of 100 to 130 degrees to the wind. The onboard instruments are fundamental to the helmsman to maintain a precise angle to the wind. Imagine sailing in rough conditions at 30 knots at night, with water on the bridge, spray, red eyes from the sea salt that make it impossible to see. The instruments become your eyes. They give you the information you need to maintain the route, the speed, and keep everyone safe. This is a navigation software that allows you to see the distances. You can calculate the shortest routes, you can analyze the weather data. Then there are all the instruments that are dedicated to the security on board. A plotter like this one shows us where the boat is, where the reefs and coasts are, the harbours, all the information you need to navigate safely. In this case, the plotter also doubles as a radar, which is another important instrument, because you can imagine that navigating at 25 knots in an area you are unfamiliar with, in the middle of winter with thick fog and very low visibility, you won't be able to see other vessels, icebergs, or unforeseen obstacles in front of the bow. It's incredibly dangerous.
Sarebbe una follia.
I enjoy travelling by boat because I believe it's an excellent way to travel. I enjoy the idea of taking my time to arrive at my destination. Above all, arriving at a place that is still more or less considered your home. A sailboat allows you to travel far without consuming fuel, to be free from using fuel and at the same time to bring something from home to the other side of the world.
The beautiful coast of Portofino holds an extraordinary event in international boating history. The Portofino Rolex Trophy.
The metric class arrives at Portofino with a collaboration of the Italian Yacht Club and Rolex. The boats that were built according to the international rule have hit the waves. They are the same boats that in the last century wrote the history of sailing and the regattas. The famous J-class Shamrock V, Sir Thomas Lipton, used one for his last American Cup challenge. Beaten in 1930 by the Enterprise, restored in the 80s with the help of Elizabeth Mayer, major shareholder of American newspapers and often present on board. Cambria, 23 metres, and a boat that was built in the 30s with a rich navigational history in every sea in the world. It is one of the most admired classical boats. The antique look, the soft lines, the brass do not reflect the true character of this boat. Built to always explore unknown territory with technology and tests that make it unique. Its 12 metres and international stature began at the beginning of the 19th century. They were the classic Olympics, and they dominated the modern American Cup for 30 years. In reality, they are longer than 20 metres, and its name indicates the result of a formula used for measuring. The winner of Portofino, Kookaburra III and French Kiss, are two of the fastest ever built. They raced in Australia in one of the most exciting editions of the Great Regattas. Azzurra, the first Italian speeder, was one of these boats. There are still numerous examples in the world in perfect condition, thanks to the passion of the owners who continue to participate in the regattas and who take part in the International Association. The result is very interesting because they are modern boats built with antique methods, and it is a great opportunity to understand how, after a century, the performance is renewed, the boats evolve in a continuous progression, and you can compare different eras of yachting in the regattas.
The boat show ends here, but continue to navigate the digital seas where you'll find lots of fans just like yourselves. The Boat Show. Boating for passion.